What Burrow is doing, I like. My only criticism of Andrew Luck, who I loved, was, Andrew, you're being overly optimistic. This is not a good roster. Quit always taking the blame. Part of leadership is uncomfortable conversations.
I love Joe Burrow. And what's the spot they were in? 9-8, missed the playoffs after a stunning year by Joe Burrow. Talking from one quarterback to our quarterback, Chase, 14 years in the NFL. You know it very, very well. Does Joe Burrow owe the Bengals another playoff run?
Joe Burrow's legacy is under attack. Shedeur Sanders is being held to new NFL standards. And former NFL QB Matt Hasselbeck just put the entire quarterback conversation under a microscope.
For the ball, they've done a great job of paying their quarterback and now 2 wide receivers. But, that is something that they're going to have to, deal with.
On national television, Colin Cowherd stirred the pot again, asking whether Burrow's banged-up body, his slow start, and Shedeur's speeding controversies are all part of a new NFL trend. Are we expecting or just setting up young quarterbacks to fail? Today we're breaking down everything you missed, from Burrow's overlooked toughness to Shedeur's misunderstood confidence to why NFL expectations are now bigger than ever for the face of any franchise. Because when Hasselbeck talks, NFL teams listen. And what he just said could change the way teams draft, protect, and pay quarterbacks forever. Joe Burrow is no longer immune. Once hailed as the golden boy of the NFL, cool, accurate, and shakeable, Burrow is now under scrutiny for one reason: he's human. On the herd, Colin Cowherd didn't hold back. He looks like a kid who's taken too many hits, his motions slower, his urgency's different.
I've been very impressed, and I'm not somebody that gets, all worked up over what someone looks like in, helmet and t-shirt.
Now fans are questioning everything. Is Burrow's injury history catching up to him? Is Cincinnati doing enough to protect their franchise QB? Is this the beginning of a decline or just a rough stretch? Matt Hasselbeck, he wasn't having it. You're looking at a guy who's played through more pain than people realize, and he's still better than half the league on one leg. And he's got a point. In the last 3 seasons, Burrow has carried the Bengals to a Super Bowl, outdueled Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, done it all with below-average O-lip play and limited help. But here's the catch. Burrow's excellence has created a monster. Now the bar is so high that anything less than MVP-level dominance is considered a red flag. We are now living in an NFL era where quarterback perfection is expected, not just in performance, but in posture, in interviews, in how fast they drive, in how they dress, in how they speak at age 21 with millions of people watching. And now, Shedeur Sanders is being dragged into this impossible QB standard. Colin Cowherd made the bridge clear. When you're a star QB, the margin for error disappears. Shedur's not just being judged on talent, he's being judged on behavior. And it's true. Shedeur has been caught speeding, been filmed flexing luxury watches, been accused of being too confident. But here's what Matt Hasselbeck said, and it shocked everyone. You're telling me if I drove 101 mph when I was 21, I'm not an NFL QB anymore? Boom. There it is.
But Shedeur has been very impressive. It's a really complicated and intriguing quarterback room. Obviously, you've got too many guys there right now. Never mind the Deshaun Watson situation, but 4 guys in that room. When you're only going to keep 2, maybe 3, someone's got to go, and all 4 guys could actually, I think you could make the argument that all 4 guys could give them the best chance as a starter.
He hit the double standard head on. Joe Burrow plays through injury and gets called fragile. Shedeur makes young man mistakes and gets labeled immature. Meanwhile, QBs like Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel, and even Ben Roethlisberger had much bigger issues and still got drafted high. So what's changed? The answer, everything. Because today, quarterbacks aren't just leaders. They're brands, influencers, franchise CEOs. And NFL media, they don't miss a single misstep. The fan base is confused and divided. One side says, we should expect more from QBs. They're the face of the league. The other side says, they're just kids. Let them grow up before we crucify them. Shedeur's name has become lightning in a bottle. Every tweet, every video, every highlight, it either proves he's the next big thing or the next big bust. Cowherd called it quarterback inflation. The money is bigger, the scrutiny is harsher, the patience is gone. Matt Hasselbeck didn't disagree, but he added a chilling warning. If we're not careful, we're going to start losing great quarterbacks to pressure before they even get started. Let that sink in. Think about how Andrew Luck walked away from the game, how Justin Fields is already being labeled a bust, And now, Shedeur Sanders is under more heat at 21 than some NFL vets got after 5 years in the league. It's a new environment, the pressure, crippling. The microscope, constant. And the real question, can anyone survive it? Now here's where things get real interesting. Joe Burrow and Shedeur Sanders, two completely different QBs. And yet, they're being treated the same way by the media. Colin Cowherd laid it out. Burrow is being judged like he's already in his decline. Shedeur is being judged like he's already failed. But guess what? They're both elite talents, just in different chapters of the story. Burrow, top 3 QB in the league when healthy, took a broken Bengals franchise to the Super Bowl. Laser-focused, pocket poise, icy demeanor. Shedeur, dynamic, mobile, smart under pressure, playing with the weight of a family name and national attention. Coaches rave about his leadership, his toughness, and yes, his confidence. But the criticism? It's identical. One bad week equals is he regressing? One bad story equals is he immature? One flashy moment equals is he too Hollywood? It's not just unfair, it's unsustainable. And Matt Hasselbeck knows this better than most. We need to let quarterbacks be human again, otherwise we'll lose the best ones before we even see what they can become. So here's the big takeaway. Joe Burrow is still that guy. Shedeur Sanders still has first-round talent. But the NFL world? It's changed. Now, quarterbacks aren't just judged on wins or losses. They're judged on headlines, driving habits, Instagram stories, and how perfectly they represent a billion-dollar brand. Eric Mangini defended Shedeur. Matt Hasselbeck defended Burrow. But what happens when fans and GMs no longer care what the experts say? What happens when TikTok clips outweigh tape study? What happens when the quarterback standard becomes impossible to meet? That's the world these guys live in. And as Hasselbeck warned, we're going to lose special quarterbacks because we've made the job about everything except football. So what do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders being unfairly criticized? Is Joe Burrow still a top 3 QB? Are fans and media expecting too much too fast? Drop your take in the comments right now. Smash that like button if you still believe in football over flash. And hit subscribe because here we defend the game and the guys who still love to play it. This is Gridiron, and we'll be watching every snap on the field and in the